Hi, I'm Cheryl. Welcome to my channel, Homeridge Studio. Today, as I promised in my last video, I am going to show you how to make these 4 gnomes. The first one, the incognito gnome. The second one, this is a plaque. The third one, this is just a typical gnome using one of those sparkly hats from the Dollar Tree and a scarf. And this one is a beer head gnome, and I found these from a dollar store, the beer hat. So anyway, with all that said, let's make gnomes. So for the first one, we're going to make him, and the back is a scarf, and again the hat is from the Dollar Tree. And I've showed you many times how to make gnomes. So you just put some rocks in the bottom for weight, stuff it with polyfill, an old pillow, whatever you have on hand, and make it as big or small as you want. And I just want to make sure that that's big enough for or to support the hat. And you tie it off, and I put some glue in there, and now I'm going to figure out what kind of scarf to use because I have a bunch of them from the Dollar Tree. I think I kind of like the polka dot ones. Anyway, you put the gnome in the middle and you pull the sides up, and they're not going to all come straight up and meet together because the scarf is too narrow. But that's okay, we're going to fix it. So after you do that, you just tie it off. And I wanted to make sure that I knew where the front was, where the reinforced toe was. That's why I took it out. So anyway, you cut the excess material off. And now where the reinforced toe is, that's usually where I like to make the front of my gnome. You take those flaps and kind of fold them into the front because we're going to put the beard on and cover that. So the back will be smooth and you won't be able to tell. This material doesn't do real well with hot glue, so don't put a whole lot on it, just enough to get it to stick. I'm measuring out the faux fur. You want it to come all the way up to the top because the hat is going to sit on the top, and that you don't want to see any material. So anyway, I'm measuring it, and I want it not going quite around the back of the gnome, but enough so it covers those flaps that we folded over. And the way you cut it is you score it with one of these X-Acto blades. You don't want to cut the fur because it will literally cut the fur, and it won't have that. It'll have like a blunt edge. It won't have that fur sticking out like a nice beard. And then I just pull off the excess. And now we're ready to glue it on. And like I said, just bring it all the way up to the top. And he's gonna look kind of like Cousin It for a little bit here. Okay, now you can see where the top fits right, or the hat, excuse me, fits right on top of the gnome like that, right on top of the beard. And you want to make sure it's weighted properly so it doesn't tip over sideways or fall backwards. And then the glue I put there's plastic circles underneath that hat. I put the glue right on the plastic as opposed to on the material. Waited a second and then pressed it on the material, and hold it and let it dry completely. So now we're ready to make a nose. I'm using a nylon. The wood beads, unless you want to find a really big wood bead, I think they're kind of The bigger ones are heavy, and the littler ones that I usually make on my normal gnomes, I think are too small. So I'm just taking some cotton balls. You can take polyfill or whatever you like. And I think this nylon was about 5 inches long. So you take the 2 cotton balls and you kind of pull them apart and mush them together and then put them in there, and then I just put it in the middle and then take the 2 ends, bunch them up and tie it. And you kind of got to mold the nose. You can make it bigger. You can put 3 cotton balls in there if you like. I use 2. And just try to put it all the way up in there so you don't see the extra nylon. And the glue will adhere to the extra nylon and to the hat. That's why it's so long, and it's easier to tie. And there you have it. It's the first gnome. And time for the second one, my incognito gnome. You're going to need glasses from the Dollar Tree and a sock. I already cut this sock, and this was from the Dollar Tree. And I've showed you how to make the body already. And I've done these mop string gnome beards before. I've showed you how. I'll show you really quick here. You just cut the mop strings. Hot glue, I think I do about 12 of them. And then hot glue them. I look at and make sure the reinforced toe again is in the front. And I start the bottom of the string at the reinforced part. And I glue them up just a little bit more than halfway. And it'll look like that when it's done. And then you unwind them. So there's usually 4 strings that are wound up. And there's a lot of fuzzes that kind of fly everywhere. I pull the extra fuzz off of it. Be careful not to pull it too much, because you'll pull the whole string right off the sock. And when I do pull the fuzz off, I usually hold the top of the beard down so it doesn't pull out. And that's what it looks like when it's done. And I like the beard to just touch the table or whatever it's going to sit on. And we're just going to put the sock on top for the hat. And I kind of had to play with this a little bit. The buckle in the front wasn't matching the buckle in the back. I folded the bottom of the sock up underneath itself and then glued it around. Then I glued it on the back, and be careful not to glue the sides, because we're going to put the arms up underneath that hat on the sides. And then we're going to put the nose on, and that is just a wood bead. So anyway, I showed you how to make the arms already. I'm going to show you really quick here. So that seam that I just pointed to, that is going to go in the back of the gnome. And do it on both sides, and then of course glue the arms down on the top and on the bottom underneath. And now you can glue the rest of the gnome, or the gnome's hat I should say. And these are kind of tricky to put on. It took me a while. The best thing I thought would be to just tie it with some jute. And then that keeps those glasses kind of balanced. And then wherever the glasses touch the body of the gnome, that's where I put glue, trying to avoid the nose though, because it gets caked up under there and you can see it. So if you put it underneath and not on the side of the nose, that's probably the best idea. And wherever else that hat touches the body. So I'm going to tie off the top of the sock, again with some jute. Now I have some beads for the hands. These are smaller beads, wooden beads, than the nose. And by the way, my nose bead does not have holes in it. I ordered them from Amazon, but these little beads do, so I put them in sideways in the arms. But you can go to one of my other videos and watch how I make those arms and how I put those beads in. It's pretty simple. So I glued his hands up to hold his glasses on. And there's my little incognito gnome. And here is his little friend that I made earlier. Just a different sock and different glasses, all from the Dollar Tree. So for the third gnome, this is so easy. I think it took me less than 5 minutes to do. So those little clovers are just embellishments. You can use any kind of embellishments. Those are from Hobby Lobby. The sock is from the Dollar Tree. The Inspire plaque is a Dollar Tree. And that fake fur is just a little piece that I had, a little scrap piece. And I was kind of playing with it here because it's not square. It's kind of more triangular on one side and square on the other, if that makes sense. Anyway, I couldn't figure out how to put this on, so I thought, you know what, I'm gonna have my gnome's hat be crooked, kind of on the side, so I can use this scrap piece of fake fur. So I just glued the beard around, and that sticker I should have pulled off in the beginning, but that's okay. Just put a blow dryer on it or a heat gun. It will take that sticker right off the back. And you just put the hat on. Like I said, this was kind of crooked because of the beard, so I put it on sideways. I just pop the little wood bead on there for the nose. And you can embellish this hat with anything. They have necklaces at the Dollar Tree that have clovers on it. You can put one of those on there. So I popped that on his hat, and I think I'm going to glue that to the side. And then pinch it together. And I'm going to put a little pom-pom. I was going to put a cotton ball, but it looked like a cotton ball. Then I had a little white pom-pom, so I went and got that and put it on the side. And then this is some jute, some fancy green color jute that I got or string, I'm sorry, that I bought from the Dollar Tree. And you just wind it around the top of his hat. You can put ribbon around there. You can put jute. You can put anything around the top of a hat, or you can leave it plain. I just tied it off and put a little dollop of hot glue there. Make sure that it doesn't unravel. Clip those strings off. And that is it for this project. Super simple. I think he's so cute. I love him. Anyway, for the this is the fourth gnome and the final gnome. This is the beer hat gnome. So I got the beer hat from a dollar store over here. And the brown cap is also from that dollar store. This is inspired by Blye, B-L-Y-E, DIY. She's amazing. She made a pillow gnome for Christmas and it was so cute. So my idea came from her pillow gnome. Anyway, the circle that I'm cutting out is about 8 inches in diameter. And that is going to go in the bottom of the cap. You want to get it in there tight and you want to make sure that it's flat so it sits properly. So the middle of that, where it's all gathered together, of that cap should be in the middle of the cardboard piece. I hope I explained that to you correctly, or I hope you understand that. And this is just polyfill. Actually, we got rid of our couches and I kept all the pillows that were from our couch. And I use that to stuff my gnomes and everything. So you're going to want to get a lot of stuffing in here. And I'm just seeing how that is going to fit on top. And I'm going to stuff the beer glass, I guess yeah, it's a beer glass. It's not a beer can. It's kind of a cool hat. It's kind of unique. I've never seen anything like this. Oops, there goes Santa. He fell on the floor. So anyway, I'm just kind of playing around with this, making sure that it's stuffed really full. So the top and the bottom will sit together perfectly. And now I'm going to take that beard from the Gnome Santa, pull it off, and it fits perfectly on this. I pull it all the way up to the top because it has that little notch in there, but you don't want to see where the material of the cap, where the beer glass and the cap meet. So you want to pull it all the way up to the top. And then I just glued on the beard all around the sides, the top, and the bottom. Now we're ready to put on the top of the pillow beer glass gnome. You just want to make sure that none of the fur gets stuck up in there. And this takes a while. I'm not putting marks on this. And this takes a while. I'm just going to hot glue all the way around and take my little spatula there, and I'm kind of pushing it in together. So the cap on the bottom, I'm pushing that up inside the hat. And this took a lot of glue. It took a while, and I actually had to go back and do this all over again. I know you probably will not be able to find one of these caps, but you can put any cap on top. You could probably even make this. As I'm looking at it now, it looks like you could probably just get some felt green felt and then that yellowish color felt and some white felt for the top, and just cut it out and glue it together. I'm making the nose same way that I made the other nose on the previous gnome, but I'm making this one bigger. So I believe that the nylon, that piece that I cut out here, instead of being 5 inches, I think it was 8 inches, and you're going to want a lot, you know, left at the end, so the glue will adhere to that, which will adhere to the top of the hat. And I just felt like something was missing, so I have this little button, this little St. Patrick's Day button. I think it says "Kiss Me, I'm Irish" on it, and I just pin that on there. It's a pin, not a button. And I have some of this left here from the Dollar Tree. It's a scarf, and I just hot glued it around the cap. And that's it. Here's my 4 gnomes. And here's another picture. They're sitting on top of my refrigerator, getting ready to party it on for St. Patrick's Day. So anyway, I want to thank you for watching this video. If you made it all the way to the end, that's fantastic. I know it's a little bit longer than I like to make. It's almost 22-minute video, but I really appreciate you. I appreciate you watching my video. If you're not subscribed to my channel, please do so if you like my content. Also, give me a big thumbs up and like my video, because it definitely helps my channel grow. And with all that said, thank you again. Have a blessed day. I will see you soon with another video. Bye.